What do I believe to be true that isn't? What do I believe to be true that isn't? I'm sure there's a lot of things. Is it worth it to explore that question in general? Or is it better to try to find those things for specific problems that I face on a day-to-day basis, or emotions? And I would say that since I started to do this, every day I can come up with something, but there has not always been something top of mind that is bothering me. And maybe it is because it isn't top of mind, or maybe it is because doing this actually started to help me. When before I started walking, I felt this, a negative emotion, a kind of pressuring feeling, quickly for a business choice that I made that could backfire on me, which cost me more money and time and effort, and especially I would say the unknown. Now that I say it, I think the unknown there played a role. So I think there might be the fear of high costs in the future and the fear of additional time that I have to spend on it in the future because of a choice that I've made that I could have made differently, where it could have been avoided. So I could say maybe a feeling of regret, but I'm not sure if that's the right word, emotion that I felt. I would say more so a pressuring / fearful feeling. And I say that because those kind of feelings, they happen very rarely now, but before they happened more often, way more often. And I think that it's why I started doing it, because I really wanted to find a way to get rid of them. It was the initial thing, but now I do see that it is not about getting rid of it. It's more about seeing that it isn't really there. It is all created by my mind and fabricated into existence, but it's not there already. And it's not even in reality, it's all made up in my mind. So, and I would say that fearful / stressful feeling that I just had, very short, it got away because I saw a possible way where it won't cost me more money and time in the future. But this isn't the actual solution, right? Because what if it did? Then that feeling was there. Then I felt maybe slight anger to myself for not thinking through the decision enough. For if I did, I would have made a different decision. So what is the real solution there? It is regardless of the outcome, whereas now it's a positive one, so then everything is always good. But even if it is negative, that then it doesn't matter. It should not matter, because it doesn't have any significance. And I do think that by me just saying that it doesn't have significance, it doesn't mean that it feels that way. Very honestly, it does feel like there is significance to it. For it involves money, it involves even something more precious, time. But I would say that I think in this situation the more precious thing seems to be money. Even though it isn't, it feels that way. That's the truth. So could the solution actually be within really understanding that it doesn't have significance, that my decisions doesn't really have significance? It's hard to believe when I say that, but when you think things through, like, after all, I will be there, probably at the funeral similar to my grandma's last week, where I'm just a dead body. And then at that point, it didn't matter at all, right? So that is, I'm not sure if that is really the right way of seeing things, or the reality. For us, that is then. Right now is right now. But if that will happen, which is certain, I will die, so knowing that, how can there be significance to my decisions? For whatever I do, that will happen. If whatever I decide, that is interesting. Whatever I decide, that is inevitable. So stupid when I think about it. Why do I think there is significance to my decision? Well, in this case, I think mainly about the money aspect. So it costs money, right? And a lot of headache. So that also, like time spent on things I don't want to do. So those two things. And I fear that I have to, one, spend more money in the future than was necessary if I did decide otherwise. And two, I would have to spend time on things that I do not like. Are those true? Is that a good question to ask? Because does it even matter if it is true or not? If it is true, well, then it is true. If it is not, then you can, well, then it seems solved, but then the understanding isn't there. So then it's just waiting for the next problem to arise or bad decision to be made, and you have the same thing. So I'm not sure if it is about asking if it is true that I have to spend more money and time or not, and that it is more so about, does that matter? Interesting, because when I think about it, the money part then matters less because I can always make more of it in the future. And the time spent on things I do not like matters more when I think about it. And then it starts to matter. This is interesting. I've already made the decision, right? So I've already made the decision. I think I just start to realize that I've already made that decision and I can't reverse it. This is really interesting. I already made the decision. So none of it matters. And maybe it matters from a time perspective, for that is true or can be true. But how can it possibly then affect my emotional state? If I've already made the decision, I can't reverse it. Or if I could, then it was a different situation, and then it was still not about being emotionally attached to the decision I've made or not making the right one. For then it's just about, okay, am I going to change my decision? But in this case, it is not reversible, so it doesn't make sense at all. That's just the thing. That is reality. I've already made the decision. Can't be reversed. I can make a new decision which doesn't reverse the other one, but can still be the next best decision. And that's the only thing there is. But this whole feeling is around not having made, looking with hindsight, the best decision. But at that time it maybe was, or may not. Doesn't matter because it can't be reversed. It's interesting that I did not see that. Of course, the whole caring about what is next, about the emotion that follows from it, just doesn't, well, it is not there now. And I do not think it will arise, at least not in this situation. I think in the future, that understanding will make me see what is just a reality. Talk soon.